Hi, this is Kelly from The Truth in Story, and today we're going to be taking a look at a deck that I got, and it's all entirely Wild Moon Tarot's fault. And I will put a link to her channel in the description box below, as usual. Actually, I have had this deck in my Amazon wish list for quite some time, but I don't know, I wasn't quite sure about it. I hadn't seen a lot on it. So it was on my list to get, but it just wasn't high up there. You know how it is. We all have those ever-growing Amazon wish lists. Mine, I take 2 steps forward and then I end up getting, oops, sorry, I'm just trying to adjust this. I get something knocked off and then put 2 on. So it just never gets anywhere. But the reason I kind of bumped this one up is because I saw Wild Moon Tarot both. She did 2 things with it. She did, an unboxing with it. But then she also did a really fun video where she kind of asked for a bunch of questions, I think on Instagram, maybe Facebook. Anyway, she asked for some questions, and she did just like a series of readings, just quick ones. Like, she wasn't spending a lot of time on them. She was just kind of going through them to get used to both this one and the Chronicles of Destiny, which I love. And so, which I think she does say in that video that it's kind of my fault that she got that one. So I think we're kind of even, because she got that one and I got this one. Actually, I think I made out because this is a lot cheaper. Okay, so I'll put a link to those 2 videos below, because it's really, I loved watching it, and it's probably something I will borrow and try off of her idea, because that was a lot of fun, just to see a bunch of quick readings like that. It was fun to watch. So it's something I might give a try. But the reason is this fall season, I have to say, October, I'm really getting into these darker cards. And I say darker cards meaning coloration, not that they're dark cards. Because the decks that I'm using a lot of right now is the Raven's Prophecy. Now, I did retrim these. If you watched my other video, I could not stand the edgings that were, the mess that was the back, and so I retrimmed them, which meant that it was going to cut into the image some to make them look good on the back, but it was nothing that caused any problems. You definitely lost little slivers of image, but it was well worth it, because the back now looks fantastic. I can live with this little line because I really do like having the titles down there. So the only title that it mattered, and I'm not going to try to find it, the Hangman was close, but the High Priestess, cut a little bit of that off, and I think the Wheel of Fortune, but again, that's something that I can live with because it just looks fantastic. So this is the main on my Instagram. I'm doing sort of a challenge, and one of the challenges that you do, but I'm just going to be doing it with this deck all month, because I just thought Quilpin was doing it with a deck, and I thought that's a really good idea, and it just felt right to get to know this deck, so I'm really enjoying that. So this is one, you can see it's very dark, and just in terms of coloration. I am absolutely loving the Halloween Oracle. This is stunning deck. I will not just use this at Halloween. I will be using this other times of the year. It's stunning, but again, you can see the black borders. It's definitely a dark colored deck. And then the other deck I'm using a lot of this month is the Chronicles of Destiny. I just love this. I've added a reading onto my Etsy shop using that landing strip or air strip that I did a video on. I just love this deck, and I've been using that. So those are the 3 decks that I've been using the most this month, and you can see they're all these dark colored decks. It's just, I'm feeling very autumny, as you can see from the little layout even. And so this deck, you know, when she got, you know, brought it out, I'm like, oh, that feels very autumny too. Like that just kind of feels like the season. It feels like Samhain and Halloween time. It just, yeah, I just had to have it. So I went ahead and got it with birthday money. I did get, because those, actually the decks that I just showed you, and then this one are sort of my most recent purchases to the fault of my birthday. But you know, birthdays are good excuses. You get, you know, kind of free money. I don't like to buy useful things with birthday money. You know, people give me birthday money to buy something. I get treats, so. So anyways, here we have Madame Endora's fortune cards featuring the artwork by Christine Philippek. And the box is a standard box. You know, really, it's pretty. It's, you know, it's nice. It's pretty. It's a little bit thinner, but it's almost like just a card box. But it's nice. I do like, because I don't know that this is one I'll leave out. This is kind of, you know, pushing a little bit more like my Lenormand kind of decks and that type of thing. So, which I keep all in their boxes. I'll probably, this is that same style of reading, so I'll probably keep this in the box. So I'm glad that there is a little box for it. It does have a little white book, but it's quite lovely. It feels nice. I did not do an unboxing for this because I did want to play around with it a little bit. So you can see, obviously me and my tabs. So I have to get better because, you know, I do write in my guidebooks generally, but there's been a few decks that I put up on eBay just recently. That, you know, they're not working for me or whatever, and I do have to, like, the cards are immaculate, but the guidebooks have, you know, highlighting and writing in them. What are you gonna, I can't help it. So anyways, Madame Endora's fortune cards again, but it is very nice feeling. It's got, you know, a sheen feel to it, and it's, you know, it's got nice, you know, little touches of artwork and things like that. Throughout it, you know, little pictures and graphics and stuff. So it's a beautifully done little, and these, truthfully, you know, these types of decks don't need big, you know, this is like a Lenormand, this is like, Kipper cards, you know, the Gypsy Witch, these kind of like fortune telling cards category. You know, most of the times the meanings are quite succinct, and it's all about the combinations and how they come up and the order in which they come up. So you really don't need a lot of information, not to mention we'll get to the cards themselves, but they actually have sort of their key meaning on it. So you just really don't need it that much. This method of fortune telling incorporates mythological lore and old world concepts of the tarot with New Age mysticism. These cards offer insightful advice concerning matters of love, money, health, and general prosperity. They may be used to foretell future events and to enlighten the inquirer as to the best path to follow. So they are 2003 copyright by Monolith Graphics. So that's the 2003 is when they came out, so they've been out for quite a while. Now they are split into piles, which I have right here. Well, first let me show you the backs. These are, it comes with two, you know, sort of artist card, and then advertisement for the Gothic Tarot, also available from Monolith Press. And so here you can see the beautiful backgrounds. They are very antique-y looking, very going to a fortune teller shop. That's what really drew me to the feel of these. It just feels like, you know, you're going to a fortune teller booth that I quite love. So that's what the backs look like. Cardstock wise, it's nice. I mean, it's not as nice as, oh, here's Llewellyn. It's a little bit thicker than a Llewellyn, but it's decent. I will say I've already shuffled these a little bit, and I've seen some chipping on the edges because I don't know, the edging kind of feels, I don't know, but I have seen a little bit of nicks and things on the corners. I don't mind that horribly. Llewellyn tarot decks tend to chip too, and for me it's just all part of the aging process, although that was pretty darn quick. So there we have that for the backs. But then they are split up. I have these split up into the piles because there aren't numbers, which I'm fine with, because again, you have your key thing, and it's very, you just kind of get to where you should know this right away, very quickly. These are very quick to pick up. And so I don't think that that's necessary. You have 8 cards. Let me make sure I get them correct. You have 8 cards that are the court cards, and we'll look at all these. Then you have 10 cards. 10 cards that are the realm of fable. So like, you know, the Golem and the Green Man and the Hindrance and things like this. And then we have, I think, 10 cards. Yes, we have 10 cards that are bestiary. So these are going to be animals from legend and superstition. And then we have, I think this is Treasury. So there are 12 cards. So 12 cards for mystical treasures that are going to aid you. And then we have, I want to say these are the elements. Yeah, so then we have the elements, which are the sun, the moon, the stars, and then the 4 elements and wind. Again, we'll look at them all, obviously. So it's kind of split into those groupings. So we have a total of 16, 24, 34, 44, 45, 46 cards. It doesn't say on the back of the box. I want to say 46 cards, but I will tell you that my adding in my head is not very reliable. So there's about 46 cards. 8, 9, 16, 26, 36, 46, 47, 48. Yeah, 48-ish cards. I should count them for you. But anyways, so the guidebook itself obviously goes through, you get about a sentence or so for each of the creatures, or whatever that is that they are. And then in the back, you get a section of spreads. We have the Seer's Fan, the Oracle of 4 Seasons, and we have, I really like this. I tried this one out. The Oracle of the 4 Winds, which I will show you at the end of the video. And then the Oracle of the World, where it kind of spreads out a little bit further than the Oracle of 4 Winds, where you get north, you know, you get your extra ones here. So then that's what you get with the little white book. Again, for this style deck, I think it's more than enough. It's all, this is really something that it should be pretty quick and intuitive hits. So I think that this is plenty for what it is. So there we have that. So then we start with the court cards. Now, one of the reasons I hadn't bought this before is because I'm not really a fan of Egyptian art. I know that it's in, you know, esoterically, it's in a lot of some of the lore and things, and some of the symbology is definitely built into tarot. And so I can certainly understand it, and I don't dislike it. It's just not my favorite thing. It's not something I gravitate to. And there is quite a bit of that pulled into this. You can even see that in the Sun card with the scarab that's there. But it was too fun. I had to get it anyways. So here we have the King, and we have these little keywords down here: authority and diplomacy. We have the Queen, love and prosperity. The Wizard, use your skills to aid others. The Seer, follow your intuition. This, of course, is on the front of the box, and we have behind her, you can see the astrological signs. That's a beautiful card. Follow your intuition. The Knight, triumph over adversity. The Maiden, a new relationship blossoms. The Minstrel, let your intentions be known. I like that. You're going to, you know, sing a song about your intentions. And then the Harlequin, which is beautiful. True feelings are masked. So you get the idea of the mask. Then this is the, what do they call this? The realm of fable. So here we have the realm of fable. And we have the Golem, obviously from Jewish mythology. A close friend acts on your behalf, because what golems would do. The Green Man, the forces of nature favor you. hindrance. This is quite interesting. This is fate has blocked this path for you. I don't really see, you know, look wise, but we've got this beautiful autumn. Well, we have the log across it. So she is blocking the way, I suppose. It's a beautiful card. Medusa, jealousy leads to downfall. Of course, there's a lot of other things that you can do with the idea of Medusa. I'm not going to, you know, find myself entirely bound to those little meanings, but they are nice to have on there. The satire, revelry and indulgence, which I think quite works for that sort of pan energy. Seduction, passion and romance await. So not really a negative connotation to that. Serendipity, I love this. It's beautiful. Bright new prospects are on the horizon. The siren, a temptation may lead you astray, which certainly works. You know, sirens would sing out and lead sailors off on the path they shouldn't be on. The Sphinx, choose your words carefully. The Spirit, unseen forces watch over you. So we have that. This is the bestiary. So these are animals from mythology and from superstition and stuff. So we have the black cat. Your luck will soon change. So it doesn't say bad or negative. So that could go either way. Kind of like the Wheel of Fortune. So I like that. The chimera, imagination clouds your judgment. Or chimera. I've seen it. I've heard it pronounced various ways. The dragon. I like that the dragon is a positive. So this is strength and wisdom. That's how I view dragons. So I'm quite happy with that. The griffin. Honor and good luck. The raven. Look how gorgeous that is. Darkness looms on the horizon. The serpent. A sly and subtle approach is needed. The spider, be meticulous and patient. The unicorn, good fortune and friendship. The wolf, beware who you trust. The wyvern, your secrets are safe. So that's the bestiary. Then this is the Treasury, and so these are items that could help you. So here we have the Caudicus, and I am sure that that's not how you pronounce that. I'm sure somebody will tell me. You will receive news from afar. This is interesting because it's kind of that healing. I get the more of a sense of healing than news. And again, I think that you just have to go with your own hits on these. The Chalice, rejuvenation and fulfillment. The dagger, conflict and danger lie in wait. The gate, a barrier keeps you from your goal. Okay, here we have the hand of fate. How gorgeous is this? We have the astrological signs here. We have the planets on her palm. That's just beautiful. Forces beyond your control intervene. So that's interesting. I say interesting a lot. Probably annoying, but the hourglass, time is of the essence. So we have time running out. The key, locked doors can now be opened. Makes sense. Love, true love and fidelity. So these are like heart card, key card. You know, there's just a very succinct image on each one with the title, and then obviously sort of the key thing that's made. This is a beautiful card. This one, when I saw this on Wild Montero's video, I was like, oh, do I love that, because this is the Mystic Circle, and it says your abilities will be enhanced, and we have all this gorgeous Celtic knotwork around it. We have 3 dragons in here. We have runes. I can see that there are definitely runes in here. This is the Mystic Circle, represents spiritual and occult beliefs. Your abilities will be enhanced. You are empowered to protect. Focus your energy on your main goal. But it doesn't say, sorry, I'm pulling this away so I can see. There is writing on the outside, and there definitely appears to be runes, but it's got, must be the set of the runes in the inner circle. So there's a writing, maybe the names of the runes. I'm not sure. I can't read it. I'll have to see when I scan it in. And then I can definitely recognize some runes across here. So that's pretty cool. Here we have the Oracle. Seek wisdom and guidance from elders. And again, we definitely have this Egyptian motif here. The Shield. You are safe from harm. I really like that one because it's kind of similar to the gate, but the gate blocks, whereas the shield protects. So I love that. And look at this one. The Talisman. You are destined to succeed. See, again, we have sort of the planetary symbols. We have some symbols on the outside that I don't know what those are. If anybody knows what those are, maybe Danu. I know she, studies a lot of things to do with the occult and sigils and things such as that. I don't know. I'm assuming these are specific things because certainly the internal ones are. So if anybody knows what that are, please If anybody knows what those are, please put that in the comment because I will be quite interested to know that. So that was the Treasury, and then the last section is the elements, and I quite love this because you know me, if you've watched any of my videos, I'm all about the element. I'm not gonna sing. Okay, here we have the Sun. Your perseverance is rewarded. The Moon. You will be guided through darkness. The Stars. A long journey brings rewards. That's beautiful. Then we have the 4 elements, which I just love. Here we have air. Seek a union of mind and spirit. And we have the 3 signs that are associated with air. So we have Libra, Gemini, and Aquarius, and their symbols here. I just love these element cards. Obviously, we have the elemental symbol in the middle. Here we have Earth, and so we have Capricorn and Virgo and Taurus. Utilize logic, reason, and common sense. Here we have Fire. We have Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. Reckless actions lead to conflict. And then Water, Scorpio, Scorpio, Pisces, and Cancer. Emotions are at their peak. So I just love these 4 element cards. And then the last card is Winds of Change. Your surroundings will undergo transition. So I do really love these, and I'm glad that I got them. I'm glad that Wild Moon Tarot put them up on her channel. Her name is Elise, not Wild Moon. But you come to think of people a lot of times as their things, and so you would know also. But I'm glad that she got them before me so that I could see them. Because that definitely sealed the fate for me, because it would have been lower on my list to get because of all the Egyptian. And again, I appreciate it's very ancient, and I appreciate the Egyptian aspects that are in tarot. It's just not an art style that I generally, but this has definitely a mix of, Egyptian, Celtic. There's a lot of knot work. So you definitely get kind of a mix of Egyptian and Celtic images here. But it works. I think it works together as a whole to be quite a mystical, esoteric kind of deck. So I'm really pleased with this. Now see, you can see right here, I haven't shuffled this a ton. I just did try some things out, but we see that chipping that's right there. That's the only one, so that could have been a flaw, I guess, in the actual, making of this, but it does make me wonder because these points are rather pointy, and I could go, if this continues to be a problem, I could go redo the corners, but I don't really want to do that. But other than that, they do shuffle really nicely. They're thinner, again, you know me, I love a little bit of a thinner cardstock. I think this could have been a little bit thicker as a, kind of an oracle deck kind of thing. It could have been a little, although I I wouldn't consider this an oracle deck. This is a fortune-telling card deck. This is along the lines, I feel, you know, if I were to, you know, be redoing my roulettes, I would probably put this in with Lenormand, Kipper cards, you know, the Gypsy, Witch, you know, those kinds of very clear, pretty concise kind of oracle type of deck. And I did have somebody in the comments ask me to address oracle cards, so I am going to be doing a video on sort of, again, just touching on the differences between these types of cards and then how to use oracle cards. But I personally kind of put this in the fortune-telling category. Again, not that you have to tell the future with it, but it just has that blunt, direct, let's have a quick answer here kind of feel to it. Which I love, obviously, or I wouldn't love Lenormand as much as I do. Okay, so I just wanted to give it a good shuffle there. And I quite like this, just so you can see some of these. And my pumpkin's rolling off. I quite like this here. Well, we'll do this so you can see 9 cards. We'll start with this and then add on. So we have a card kind of signifying what's going on with you in the middle. So here we have love. And then to the north is going to pertain to dreams and intangible ideals. What you aspire to, it's over the top of you. That certainly makes sense. Then to the south, you're going to have earthly pursuits, things under your feet, so to speak. And I just rhymed. So that also makes sense because it's underneath you. And then to the west, we have represents the setting sun or that which has been. So this kind of gives us the past, learning from our mistakes, you know, things that we might need to know carrying forward. And then, of course, to the east, we have the rising sun, which is yet to be. Kind of what to help in preparing you. It's not necessarily what is going to be. It's like what is it you need to know to prepare yourself for what is coming. And I can definitely feel, oh, look what I did. I could feel I was doing lots of shake because I don't have, there we go. And there, yes, you can see my legs. I did not have this quite situated well. We are all whopper jawed now. That's gonna drive me crazy. All right, I think that's as good as we're gonna get. I made a mess. So yes, where were we? So, oh yeah, so it's kind of preparing you. So that's going to help us prepare for the future. How beautiful is that laid out, though? I absolutely love this. And then you can add on, if you want, to doing, so you do it in this order, you know, yourself, north, south, west, and then east. And then you can add in the northwest up here, which is, let me find it down here, the northwest represents past spiritual or romantic influences. And then this is future, so the northeast becomes future spiritual or romantic influences, obviously depending on the nature of the question. And then, of course, following suit, we're going to have the southwest here, which is going to be past physical or the kind of the realm of earth, pentacly past. And then we have the future physical, physicality, which I love that there is the hand of fate there. So how beautiful are those? And I know there's probably good glare going on there, but those are absolutely stunning laid out. Can I just say? I mean, these are definitely would have a wow factor if you. And I think I want to say that Elise even said something along the lines of it being good to like read at pumpkin patches and stuff for the season, which I think is amazing. If I could do that, I would do that. I should have checked on that. It didn't even cross my mind, so maybe next year. This is definitely one of those that if you're doing a fair or a festival or something like that, it sort of has the wow factor. But it also, I feel, reads quite well because if you have your sort of, here's you, And then you look above the things that you're going to do. You're looking for something that you've been working hard for, kind of paying off and bringing rewards, something, your dreams coming true, that kind of thing. That's in a lot of our heads. Under our feet, with kind of our physicality self, our pentacly self, there's some problems there. There's some ideas that we have that are, we're not being grounded, because if this is a chimera, then we have imagination clouding your judgment, which means that we're not really looking at things as they are. Our heads might be too much in the stars, and we need to get a little bit lower down, or a little bit more grounded, so that we can face things as they are in terms of the real world decisions that we might need to make. And then we have over here some past influences. So things have, looked pretty good in the past, that have that sense of the queen, about being in control. But if we're not feeling that now, you know what I'm saying, that could really influence things. If you're used to being somebody who is in control and is kind of making those good decisions that you think of like a queen should be making, but you're in, this is actually what things are right now, that would be a very uncomfortable situation to be in. It's going to make you feel uneasy. And then when we look forward, we need perseverance. We need to kind of reground ourselves, because we're not real grounded right now. Hold on to our dreams, but we need to do so also move forward logically. And we need to persevere. We need to just stay the course, kind of get yourself back in gear, and everything's going to be fine. So that's like the basic cross there. And then you can start to look up in the I would kind of leave this up in kind of like with a 9 card in Lenormand, where you might look at these as above, these all mentally kind of things. And so again, we have that sense that in the past there was a lot of triumph. There was a lot of that sense of being in control. And moving forward, we have success. So these dreams that we see that are coming true, it's been a long journey. This hasn't been something easy. That is going to reap success. So that's certainly good. We definitely have news from the past. So there's something in this, because remember, we're kind of rocky here in our everyday material living, making those kind of solid decisions. But we are going to get news. So we're taking news from the past. There is something from the past that we need to be reminded of to help us reground ourselves. And there is that sense moving forward that there are some things that we can't control, and so we kind of need to prepare for that. So there is a lot in the actual earthly, pentacly type energy area of this reading that needs to be focused on. And so then I might go on to pull some cards here on how to kind of get that back into gear. Although the sun certainly says to persevere, and this is definitely telling us that success is coming. We need some work down here, so I might pull a card or two. I might pull these up and throw a 3 card maybe just on this particular topic to sort of help whoever it was get back on target. So I just love these. I think they're fantastic. I want to say they were about $13 on Amazon. This is the Madame Endora's fortune cards. If you like Lenormand, although I don't think these are exactly Lenormand, but they have that, again, that quick hitting, clear, concise feel to them. Even similar to the Chronicles of Destiny, it's a different feel to it, for sure. It's Chronicles of Destiny to me is like a Lenormand tarot, where this is just more Lenormand fortune telling-y. I don't know. The categories start to get so mixed up. But if you do like that sort of blunt, clear, quick, let's get down to business, I think that this really has that feel to it. And don't let the fortune cards put you off. A lot of these cards are going to be calling themselves this type of fortune telling system or whatever. If you don't read for if you do, great, then it's not an issue. But if you don't read, if you read for internal measures, if you read for what are the things I need to do now, that's what I generally focus on. Okay, what do I need to do now so that I can kind of make my future more aligned with what I'm trying to do. All these systems work perfectly fine. It's a tool, and it's how you use them. So never be put off by that type of terminology if you don't read fortunes. So this has been a look at the Madame Endora's fortune card. I quite love them. Have a lovely night.